You're listening to a New York Yankees episode of the Jacob Valk Show. He's breaking down the team's latest goings-on as only he can. Follow him on Twitter at RealJacobValk. Here he is, Jacob Valk.
Hello, Yankees fans! That was a long one. I like that. Welcome to another New York Yankees episode of the Jacob Valk Show. I am Jacob Valk, and there are some huge developments with this team. Namely, that they have to go with the next man up approach again. Giancarlo Stanton, Aaron Judge, and DJ LeMahieu are all on the IL. Stanton is going to be out until at least the end of the month. LeMahieu is going to be out until at least the 26th. And Judge, it seems like, is going to come back when he's first eligible. He had said that he didn't think he should have been put on the IL. He thought it was something that only required a few days. He didn't want 10, but he's on the IL. You know, I'd say that the Yankees can survive this, but it's tough. It's tough to say next man up worked last year, so why can't it work again? Realize, the coronavirus happened. The pause happened. Alright, we have no idea how these players are going to respond. Speaking of players responding, I saw two things on Yankees Twitter. The first one was that Stanton and Judge are both the next Ellsbury. They're always going to be hurt. You can't count on them, blah, blah, blah. Look, I understand why you're frustrated. Stanton's been hurt for the past couple seasons. And Judge, who's the face of the team, has always had injury concerns dating back to 2018. Yeah, it's tough to really count on these guys to play 140 games a year. But they're not Ellsbury. For starters, these guys are better than Ellsbury. Alright, I liked Ellsbury. I'm not trying to belittle Ellsbury. Ellsbury was just massively overpaid, but he actually had a solid Yankees career. He had 264. He had a 330 on base percentage. He stole at least 20 bags every year he was with the Yankees, and he played really good defense. Ellsbury wasn't bad, it was just an overpay. That's the thing. But these guys are better than Ellsbury. Ellsbury was good, bordering on very good for the Yankees when healthy. These guys are great when healthy. These guys are MVP candidates when healthy. I understand it's tough to always see them on the IL. But this is part of the deal with having these Mack trucks on the team. And that's what these guys are. Giancarlo Stanton is 6'6" and is carrying 245 pounds of muscle. That's a lot to ask of a body, no matter how great of an athlete you are. And Judge is even worse. 6'7", 282. These guys are going full speed every single day. They're running at top speed every single day. They're exerting themselves by swinging every single day. That does take something out of you. Look at LeMahieu. That's how he got hurt, just by swinging. This is the kind of thing that we're going to have to put up with as Yankees fans. I know it stinks. Believe me, nothing would make me happier than to see Giancarlo Stanton at DH and Aaron Judge in right field every single Yankees game. I mean, in a 162-game season, if they're in every single game, they're hitting at least 50 home runs each. Unfortunately, we're always going to have to deal with injuries with them. You just have to hope that it's not that serious. It's unavoidable. The other thing I saw is that this is on Aaron Boone. He was pushing these guys too hard. You know, he didn't listen to them when they were complaining about their bodies. I mean, I don't know if that is true. Stanton and Judge are competitors. They want to be out there as much as possible. They're like Jeter in that respect. Joe Torre told the story about how he would say to Jeter, take your pick. Do you want to sit this game or this game? He wouldn't ask Jeter if he wanted to sit, because Jeter would always say no. Maybe Boone needs to do something like that. Look, I don't know if he's pushing these guys too hard or not. The one thing I do know is that for these Bulvans to be asked to go at full speed after shutting down for 4 months is a really tough ask. We're seeing a bunch of injuries this year. I think it's unfair to put it on Boone. Now, having said that, the Yankees need to invest a lot in strength and conditioning and the training staff, more than they already have. Do a complete overhaul. I understand that they just brought in Eric Cressy, who's supposedly, you know, a really smart guy when it comes to this stuff, but you know what? If you have to move on from him, move on from him. Invest a lot of money in that. Because what you don't want is a situation where these guys get so many injuries that they can't produce at that elite level. And that's starting to become a possibility. But going to LeMahieu for a minute, I mean, this is a really hard one. I mean, LeMahieu was hitting over 400. He was moving runners over. With 2 strikes, he would get hits. He'd extend innings. He does things that no one else in the Yankee lineup can do. That's a hard one. And it's going to be impossible for the Yankees to replace him. You've got to hope that he's ready to come back in as little time as it can possibly be. I mean, fortunately, the season is already a third of the way over, and the Yankees are pretty well entrenched into a playoff spot. Whether it's the wild card or winning the division, I think it's safe to say that the Yankees are going to be there. They've built up enough wins already that they can survive this. It's just going to be tough for a little bit. As for the next man up stuff, I mean, look. The Yankees have outfield depth. Tauchman, Hicks, Gardner, and Frazier. And let me talk about Frazier, alright? I killed him last week, and look, in 4 games, he's been insane. I get that. He's looking like the Frazier that we all hoped he would be when the Yankees got him from Cleveland. But look at the pitchers he's doing it against. It's hard for me to read into it when he's going up against bad Braves pitching. You know, Nathan Eovaldi, Chris Mazza, and Colton Brewer, and Dylan Covey. I mean, it's hard for me to get excited about it. Am I glad that he's hitting? Of course. Am I 100% sold on him? Absolutely not, and neither should you. This guy is better than the pitchers that he's been facing. That's undeniable. But as it stands right now, tomorrow, the Yankees are going to face Blake Snell. Let's see how Frazier does against Snell. Let's see how he does against Tyler Glasnow, who I understand has gotten off to a bad start, but he's still a really talented pitcher. Let's see how he does against a guy like DeGrom or David Peterson, assuming the Yankees face him. Early returns look bad for me, but you can't be 100% convinced that Clint Frazier is going to be a superstar. I mean, he's giving you enough to make you think that he can man right field until Judge comes back. And do it competently. That's fine. But don't tell me that this guy is the savior, alright? We've got to see more. Like I said, the hard one to replace is going to be LeMahieu. It can't be Tyler Wade. Tyler Wade is not that good. I'd like it to be Thairo Estrada. Give him some runs, see what he can do. Maybe you slide Torres over to second, and you slide Urshela over to short, and put Andujar at third, see what he can do. I don't know. Estrada's probably the simplest one, so I'd probably advocate for that more. But look, the Yankees are fine. Even though they've suffered a few really bad injuries, they have Aroldis Chapman coming back. They're going to make the playoffs. They got off to a great start, so they're in. All is right in the Yankees universe. Regular episode of the Jacob Valk Show tomorrow. In addition to me recapping and previewing every single playoff game from yesterday and today, you're going to get an interview that I'm going to do with Joe Siegman, the author of Jewish Sports Legends, the International Jewish Sports Hall of Fame, and the chairman of their selection committee. As I said before, I am Jewish and I'm proud of my heritage. I have been to that Hall of Fame. I know I'm going to have a great time talking to him. Until tomorrow, I am Jacob Valk saying that I call my hairdo the Watergate. I cover up everything I can.